Welcome to another edition of The Next Level here on rtcom.tv. We have Chance Ramos along with Robert Heyer here with me tonight. Chance is a 2009 graduate of Worland High School. Robert, a 2010 graduate of Worland High School. Both have journeyed on to the next level. Chance has gone to Northwest College in Powell. He's become a trapper his second season. Robert now has journeyed on over to Sheridan. I believe they're the Sheridan Generals, and the one thing that we'll discuss here as we go on tonight, but I don't believe the Trappers like the Generals. They're kind of rivals, and that's going to be an interesting thing to chat about tonight, as they were teammates on the Warrior team, and now they're rivals. Chance, the first question I want to ask you, kind of give us a little bit of background as far as how you got into basketball.
Well, when I grew up as a soccer player in Riverton. And in fourth grade, we moved to Rollins, and Rollins didn't have a soccer program there. So all my friends in Rollins, they had a traveling team going, and I got into that. So pretty much ever since fourth grade, basketball pretty much took over soccer. So that's how I got into basketball.
Okay. How about for you, Robert?
For me, it started with my dad. When I was little, he gave me like a little basketball play toy, a basket to play with, and ever since then, it's just been rolling since then. I've been holding the basketball since that time. So,
yeah, you guys have a lot of years of basketball under both your belts. The next question that the viewers, at least for myself, granted, I've been involved with athletics my entire life, but you start out at the high school level. Other than middle school, but you have the high school level. Granted, you have a season. You have your football seasons, your basketball seasons, and everything of that nature. When you get to college, it's basketball, and you're not just playing basketball 2-3 months out of the year. Chance, can you kind of explain what a normal day is on the college side, and as far as even last year that this is your second year of basketball, kind of how the whole year has progressed?
Well, when you first get to college, you get accustomed to college life. And then when classes start, coach will call you up and arrange a meeting time with the teammates, and you get it together and you talk about the season and the requirements for that team. And then you'll get your class schedule, so you go to class, and then each day of the week you have a practice time in the span of 2 hours, 2-hour block. And for one semester, and the next semester you switch with the girls, so you practice before the girls or you practice after the girls.
Okay.
So pretty much you just go to class and then you have practice, and some people might have night class, depends on their schedule. And then pretty much after that you just have some downtime for a little bit before you go back to bed and start the day over again.
With that said, and maybe I'll continue that on to Robert, but when did the season start? You go to basketball in high school, it always starts probably about the second week of November. The football season has wound down, and basketball starts. Robert and Sheridan, when did you start practice, and kind of explain some of that?
Well, when I got to Sheridan late in August, I started like open gym kind of things the first day I got there, and we played every single day until we had preseason workouts where we were playing, lifting, and doing condition running 3 or 4 days out of the week. But we were still committed to basketball every single day. And then when the season started, we had scrimmages in October, and we were playing all November and December, and we'll go all the way through March, and that's when the national tournament is in March. And so after that, after the season's over, for the people that are going to be returning, they still have off-season workouts until school's over, so it's a really long process.
Okay. With all that said, now that you're in the full swing of the season, I know you're on Christmas break, but basketball players, like I said, I play football, and we're going to do the football players here next on the next edition of The Next Level. But weights, do you guys see time in the weight room once the season starts? Or I'll go back to you, Robert, on that one to kind of explain that.
Yeah, we lifted more in the off season than we do in the regular season, but we're still in the weight room 3 days out of the week at least. It depends on our schedule. If we're on the road a lot during the school week, we won't be in the weight room as much, but we'll try to get in there 3 times during the week during the season.
Okay. With sports, going back to even in middle school, your buddies were always you played with your buddies. I mean, on basketball, football, whatever sport you choose. But Chance, can you kind of explain the camaraderie that you see in the Northwest College Trappers?
Yeah, your teammates are pretty much the people you hang out with in college. I mean, you do everything with them. I mean, you spend about a good 4 or 5 hours with them with study hall and practice. And so you really get to know each and one of your teammates very well. And unlike high school, I mean, you have to battle for your spot. I mean, there's 2 or 3 people in your spot, and you have to battle every day for your spot. So there's a little struggle with that within each teammate, but overall, we're still buddies, and we still, look after each other in the court when games get going. So.
Okay. We're talking athletics here, and it's obviously that's been a huge part of your lives, both of your lives to date. But basically, you're at college at this point to get an education. And with all that said, you go back to the study halls. And can you kind of explain how those study halls work, Chance?
Yeah, for our study hall times, we have it 4 times a week, Monday through Thursday, for 1 hour each night. And we just go in there for 1 hour and we just do homework. No computer, no music, no anything. We just go down and get strapped up with homework. So and we're all together, so we're not supposed to be separated. So a good team bonding experience for us, and we get our homework done very well. So.
Do you guys have a study hall program like that, Robert?
Yeah, we do. And for us, it's like a 8-hour requirement each week. So we can, if you have time, you can go 8 hours one day and not go the rest of the week. But a lot of people go 2 hours a night for 4 days a week. And coach, he'll change it for every player. If he thinks a player needs it more or needs it less, he'll change it due to that player.
Is that ever factored in by GPA as well, as if you get a certain GPA minimum that you might be able to reduce your hours? Or
Yeah, if you get a 4.0, you don't have to go at all. If you get like a 3.5, it's like 1 day of the week. And like a 3.0, it's like 2 days, and then 2.5 is like 3. And
Gee whiz, I would have been there 7 days a week. Gee whiz. With all that said, too, talking college hours, some of the viewers out there, especially, some student that's still in high school, if they're watching, we talk about credit hours. For example, Chance, this coming semester, how many credit hours will you be taking?
I just need 12.5 more credits left to graduate out of 64. So I could go over that, but I have to maintain at least 12.5.
12.5.
This next semester.
How many did you have last semester?
I had 12.
12.
I had my capstone, which was really big.
Yeah.
And I got that done, so helped me out on the credit hours.
Okay, and can you explain, when we're talking those credit hours, for example, out of this 12 and a half, you might have a class that's one of them's worth 3 or 4 credit hours itself?
Yeah, depends. Like the credit hours determines how long the class is. If a credit hour class of 5, it goes pretty much every day of the week, and it's very long. If you have like a 1 credit hour class, it might be once a week you go there for like maybe 2 hours. So it just depends on how big the class is how much credits you'll have from that class.
Okay. I'll ask Robert this question because this is his first year. And was it a little bit of a transition coming in straight from high school, where you were very good in high school, you dominated the court, and then all of a sudden you're at the college level? It's a different ball game. And can you kind of explain some of your emotions and everything that you went through with dealing with that?
Yeah, and Coach talked about that one of the first days we got there, that every single person on my team dominated their high school, whether they was in California or somewhere in the Midwest, or even our foreign players, they dominated over there. And now they're at Sheridan, which is still a small junior college in Wyoming, but collectively we're a really good team. And so you kind of have to give a little. You're not going to score as much as you did in high school. You're probably not going to shine as much as you did in high school, but collectively we're going to be a pretty good team.
Okay. And then talking back a little bit about high school and college, a lot of people think, oh boy, you get to college and you're going to be able to, you guys got to play a long road game and you're going to always fly. That's not always the case. I think if both of you probably found, as far as long bus trips. In high school playing for the Warriors, you always had that dreaded Star Valley trip or something like that, and now you find yourself on not necessarily maybe a bus, I mean, because the basketball teams are smaller than the football teams are, but traveling vans, or if you will. Chance, can you kind of explain to me kind of what your travel arrangements have been in the past with the Trappers?
Yeah, if you go on a long road trip, we'll probably take a medium-sized bus. I mean, it's not very big though, but we'll take a good-sized bus for our team. But if we're going like a short distance, we'll take 2 vans. But next week we're going to Yuma, Arizona, so we're flying out from there. So maybe if it's a long distance, the team might be able to fly. But we go to Salt Lake a lot, and we just drive over there. So it's like a 8-9 hour bus ride. So
8-9 hour bus.
kind of like high school again,
Yeah.
but just a smaller bus.
Yeah. Okay. And the thing that I mentioned when we first started here is the fact with you being a Trapper and Robert being a general, where your teams and schools don't really like each other. I mean, I hate to say that, but there is a rivalry there. How does that make the two of you feel, where you guys were part of a great basketball team, and then all of a sudden you're competing against each other? What are your thoughts on that, Robert?
Well, me and Chance don't have any hard feelings towards each other just because he's a Trapper and I'm a general, but we do have a rivalry between each other. We haven't played each other yet. I've seen him play, and he's seen me play, and we'll see each other in January, so we're looking forward to it.
When do you guys play in January then?
I'm not sure.
Not sure, okay. But what do you think about that, Chance?
Just like Robert said, there's no hard feelings there, but every time Sheridan's name comes in our locker room, everyone gets all hyped up, and there's a lot of trash talking going on there, but it's a big game. I mean, they're in our region and our conference, so we got to beat them in order to get a good seat at region.
Yeah. So Robert kind of explained there that he had seen you play and you've seen him play. Was that at a tournament that took place then?
Yeah, there was a tournament up in Powell
Okay.
that Sheridan went to with us. And I think we saw him at a Casper tournament as well earlier this
Okay.
year.
Okay. The one thing, like I said earlier, when you go to college, granted you guys have had the benefit of being able to play a college sport that you truly love, but you are there to receive an education. What are you pursuing an education in, Chance?
Pre-med, I want to become a cancer research doctor someday. So
Okay.
I'm studying really hard for that right now.
Okay. How about you, Robert?
Well, my major right now is health and fitness promotion, and ultimately I'd like to be like a personal trainer somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Someday.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the thing, I think at times, and I was very guilty of that. I left high school to go play football, and I thought, I'm going to be a football player. Well, I was never going to be good enough to go pro, and then I thought, well, I better go to college to obtain an education. So that's the one thing that we always have to keep in mind, that sports and being student athletes, that's a great part of the game. And I'm not saying neither of you have the opportunity to go pro, but it's just one of those things from the viewer standpoint, for the young kids at home that may be watching, that the education is always very important. That's one thing that I want to stress. The one thing, Chance, with this being your second and final year for the Trappers, just kind of give the viewers a little bit of an idea of what you're thinking about, your possible plans for next year. I know there's several things that you're looking into, nothing set in stone yet, but just kind of share those thoughts.
Yeah, my coach is trying to get me into Carroll College up in Helena, Montana for basketball, and also down in Santa Barbara, California at Westmont for basketball as well. But I've been looking into Dixie State in St. George, Utah, or Southern Utah University, just to go down there for school, for my education.
Okay.
So nothing concrete right now, as you said, though, but those are my options as of right now.
So if you look at possibly going down there to Utah, then your basketball career could possibly be over and you'd be pursuing that education.
Yes.
Okay. And I know, Robert, it's a little too early. You still have a year left. But do you have any thoughts of where you might want to go when your time is over in Sheridan?
I haven't really thought. I want to transfer to a university after Sheridan. I'll probably be at Sheridan next year again, and I'm not sure where I'll transfer after that.
Okay. Earlier, we kind of talked a little bit, I mean, we're talking camaraderie of the teams and everything of that nature. And in high school, you usually play, as I said, in middle school with these kids. You grow up with them. They're your friends. They're your neighbors. And then all of a sudden, you get to college with a bunch of strange guys. And I heard the word, you have some foreign kids that are playing. Robert, for example, can you kind of give the viewers, a breakdown of where some of the kids are from, even in the States and possibly from a foreign country?
Yeah, a lot of our kids are from California, and we have one from Indiana and one from Nebraska, and we have 2 from Germany and 1 from Latvia.
Oh, wow.
And I'm one of the 2 from Wyoming. The other little guard on our team is from Guernsey, Wyoming. And so we're the only 2 in-state guys, and that pretty much makes up our team. And we have 1 from Chicago as well.
Okay. How about you, Chance?
Yeah, we have 3 kids from Toronto, Canada. 2 of them my roommates. Then we have a kid from Utah, Lehigh, Utah. We have a kid from transfer from Weber State on our team. Then we have me, Kean Tucker, Eric Robinson from Wyoming.
Okay.
And we have a kid from Fort Collins, Colorado, on our team as well. We have 3 kids from Chicago, and I think that sums it up. And we have a kid from Idaho as well.
Okay. From last year's team that you played against, I think I only made it to 1 game, but there were some guys that moved on from the Trappers and kind of went to some other schools. Can you just kind of indicate to possibly where those guys went after they finished up their trip?
Yeah, we have a kid from Sao Paulo, Brazil, 6'7". He went to South Dakota. I don't know what the logo mascot is though, but he started down there. At the start of the season, I don't know if he's starting right now though, but
South Dakota Coyotes, I believe
Coyotes,
is what they are. Yep.
And then we had a kid go to. We had 2 kids who didn't move on. They were migrated, but they went to another 2 new junior colleges, kind of on the East Coast. I mean, both of those junior colleges are top 5, so they both went to 2 top 5 junior colleges. Then we had a kid. His name's Kasper Hesseldal. He's from Denmark. He went to somewhere in California. I think it's a D2 school, and he starts down there. He's doing very well. And then we had a kid named Mitch Ackelson. His younger brother's on the team right now, but he's in University of St. Louis, and he starts down there as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember him from last year. Yeah. How about you, Robert? Do you know the guys that played last year? Granted, this is your first year, but do you have any idea where some of those guys from last year may have gone after ending their?
I know one of our biggest recruits from last year is J.R. Cadet. He went to TCU, Texas Christian, and he was playing pretty good down there.
Oh, wow.
And some other players went like to D2 schools in Texas, like Texas A&M International and other schools in Texas. But other than that, I'm not too sure where everybody ended up.
Okay. The one thing when we kind of talked, we were talking a little bit about weights, weightlifting, practice schedules, and that. As far as conditioning, what type of things do you do? And I'll start with you, Chance. Rather than, and who knows, maybe that's what you do. You guys just scrimmage and run the court, but what do you guys do for your ultimate conditioning?
Well, to start the season off, he had a conditioning program. It was like 2 weeks before season started. And it consisted of sprints. We had like 7 up and backs in like 37 seconds, and then 14 up and backs in 1:28. And then a sideline, we did like 17 and 60s. We did that for like 2 weeks, and then we might do a couple runs around campus as a team. But mostly we just did a lot of sprints, a lot of footwork to get our conditioning up.
How about you, Robert?
Yeah, in the preseason it was a lot more conditioning than it is, or maybe just different in the regular season. Like in the preseason, like Chance said, it was just a lot of conditioning, sprints and footwork, and we did like morning runs of a couple miles in the morning. And now in the regular season, it's just you get your conditioning and practice through the drills and running the floor. I mean, there's no slacking. You can't like take a play off and think you're going to be okay. You're going to get conditioning when you're in practice.
As far as getting prepared for your upcoming games and everything, I know the coaching staff puts in a great amount of time watching film and certain things like that, but start with you, Chance. Do you watch any film or kind of?
We rarely watch film.
Okay.
I mean, we might watch 2 or 3 films throughout the year.
Okay.
So we really don't spend a lot of time watching film. The coaches do, but we don't as a team.
Okay. How about you, Robert?
The coaches watch a lot more film than we do, obviously, and they'll show us some clips. We watch, if we can watch 1 film per week on the upcoming opponent. And if we have a couple games that weekend, we'll try to get in film of each team that we're playing just to see tendencies and stuff like that.
Okay. We mentioned earlier kind of explaining where your other teammates are from, and Robert, just starting with him, he said one of the smaller guards is from Guernsey, and what's the name of that kid?
His name is Rage Geringer.
Okay.
And he played like at Guernsey, like a 1A school, and now
Okay.
he's playing here, and he's doing well this season.
Okay. And you play with a couple from Kimmer, I believe, and what are their names?
Kean Tucker and Eric Robinson.
Okay.
Kean Tucker is a 6'8" kid, and Eric Robinson's about 6'3", 6'4". He's a football player.
Yeah, I remember Eric.
But yeah, they're both on the team, and I'm really close to both of them.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the other thing, you know, we talked earlier about how you guys were on the Warrior team together, and now you're rivals. Well, I remember watching some pretty darn good games against the Kemmer Rangers that Worland played, which Keaton Tucker and Eric Robinson were members of those of that team, and now you're playing with these guys that you really did not like. And I know you and Keaton were pretty good buddies for a while, and Eric, I think this is his first year there, I may be wrong, but kind of explain how you had to develop a friendship due to the fact that you had always played against him as not liking them.
I think it made our friendship stronger that way. I mean, we got to school and we first saw each other outside the basketball court. It was kind of awkward at first though, but we made it work, and now we're best friends, all three of us. I know Eric's older brother Blake, who went on his mission, he's coming back for this semester to play with us. I mean, he's not going to be on the team though, but he's going to be practicing with us. So, but that rival in high school, it doesn't exist in college, but we still have our jokes about it, about the games that we played against each other. So.
Well, I remember that summer before your first year there in Powell, 4th of July at my house, here comes Keaton Tucker showing up with Chance, and our family wasn't too happy because, you know, we always wanted the Warriors to beat the Rangers, and all of a sudden Keaton Tucker's there wanting some food. So it's one of those things. And so you, Robert, the kid from Guernsey, I don't think you ever played him.
No.
You guys didn't play Guernsey with them being 1A.
No.
So the one thing that I would like you to let the viewers, you know, just maybe a little advice, if you had something to do different, Chance, that you could recommend or advise out there to a young viewer, a middle school basketball player at this point that's wanting to eventually go to the next level and play college ball, what would you do differently, or what would be your advice to them?
I would just work harder than the next person. I mean, hard work really does get you far. And work on your fundamentals, your dribbling and your passing, and those really come handy in college. I mean, in college you get a set role on the team. I mean, you might not be a scorer like you were in high school. So you gotta really work on the different things that you could do to contribute to the team. So just work on everything, and hopefully you work hard enough that you can get to the next level. I mean, if you work hard and your heart's there, you could do it.
Okay. How about you, Robert?
I think if you want to play at the next level, you're definitely going to have to put in more time. I would have liked, if I were to go back, I would have put in more time than I did. Just dedicate myself more to the game of basketball, and like Chance said, work hard, be in the gym as much as I could, and work on my skills and get ready for the next level.
You know, and hearing that, it's kind of shocking to me because I think the two of you spent quite a bit of time in that gym shooting the ball. I mean, and so for the young viewers out there, I mean, these guys did. They spent a great deal of time in the gym, and they're still saying at this point probably put a little bit more time in than they did. So I find that quite interesting. The other thing, you know, once again, we go back to the education standpoint, and is there a minimum GPA that you guys have to achieve? I'm not saying neither of you have a problem achieving that, but for the viewers at home, is there a minimum GPA that you guys have to achieve, or your teammates have to maintain to continue to be able to play college ball?
I think the rules are, I think you need a 2.0 GPA, I believe. Okay. And 12 credit hours or more in order to be eligible. And our team GPA, we had a goal of like a 2.7 GPA, I believe. So I don't know if we're close to that or not, but that's our goal. So hopefully we could be reaching that in this semester and the next one.
Okay. Here we've talked so much about the athletics part, and yeah, we've hit the education part, but Are you guys happy at this point with the education you're receiving? I'll kind of start with Robert. As far as your first semester's over, are you fairly happy with how the academic part went for your first semester in college?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I enjoyed the classes that I took, and it's like mostly getting my generals out of the way for wherever I'll transfer in a year or two, and I think it'll help me in the long run for the classes that I'm taking right now.
Okay. How about you, Chance?
Yeah, I took in a lot of science classes since my major right now is pre-med. So I took in biology 1 and 2 and chemistry this past semester, as well as my capstone, which is biological research. So these classes really helped me. I mean, they were small, so I had a lot of help from the teachers. And every student in my class was willing to learn. So yeah, I think these classes really helped me prepare for my profession that I want to achieve one day. So.
Okay. So we talk about that, and I asked you your best advice or anything you would change academic or athletically. Academically, I'll start with Chance here, being this is your second year. What would you recommend to a young viewer that they might want to look at focusing on or doing as they approach when they got into college, and how they need to kind of attack the academic side?
Well, if you don't have a set major, I recommend just doing general studies to get that out of the way. But if you do have a set major, then make sure you get the classes that you need in order to graduate with that major. And with homework, I make sure you do it early, because if you do that late at night, you're probably not going to get most of it done with personal experience, and it's hard. So make sure you use those study hours that the team gives you.
Okay. How about you, Robert, on the academic side? Any advice that you
I think
give?
you need to stay organized and talk with the people that work at the college. I'm pretty close with my advisors, and they like to help out the basketball guys a lot just to get us organized and get us on the right track for our future.
Okay. We're kind of winding down here on this episode of The Next Level. I kind of want to end it on just a note, and I always talk about influence in life, and granted, my background's in football, but I don't care what my background is in. It can relate to any other sport. But I've had a lot of influential people in my life, and I know you two have had the same. But Chance, is there some influential person that has kind of helped you keep your college on track or something like that?
Yeah, most of my teachers in high school helped me with my education. They influenced me a lot. Like Mr. Sweeney, he helped me a lot with education. And in athletics, a lot of my influences came from Glenn Simmons and Ryan Baumeister, and they really helped me push myself to become better. So I really thank them for putting up with me through the years.
And how about you, Robert, for influential people on the academic side?
I think for academics, Mr. McGee was definitely my biggest influence. He made me think of some things that I never thought before about academics, and just made me think in a whole new way, and it's helped me so far.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, this is Matt Schneider along with Chance Ramos, the Northwest Trapper, and Robert Heyer, the Sheridan General. This has been another edition of The Next Level. We've enjoyed having you guys, and hope to have you again in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.